So no doubt already you've been probably hearing pretty much since last night, or even this morning, depending on how you keep up to date with the news, that the EU is unjustly declaring and imposing bad faith arguments and stuff in the negotiations that Britain just doesn't want. And it's like, oh no, you don't understand, we just want a deal. Why can't we just get a deal, And it's just so annoying because the reality is far, far different. If you don't know, yesterday around the afternoon, Jacob Rees-Mogg walked into the House of Commons and announced that after being defeated in the House of Lords and being taken out of the bill, all he was going to do with Parliament was re-put in the international agreement breaking pieces back into the internal market bill. The EU has then turned around and gone, if you continue with this, we are going to ask for these assurances unless you get rid of those clauses from that bill, which again break international agreements and are there to designed to be to break the withdrawal agreement, which is an international signed document and agreement that Britain has signed and will agree to. But now the Brexiteers, and this is who is leading the charge on this, the Brexiteers have turned round and said, we're going to break it. I'm just speechless. I really am. A couple of days ago, I said, we went through the article of, Boris Johnson's government just isn't that idiotic and stupid. And I really do question what is just going on. But we're going to go over this because it just bears repeating, because you are going to hear this, certainly from the right-wing press, certainly from most of the Brexiteers throughout the day, that the EU is demanding stuff. But if you don't take it in the wider context of what the UK government has just done, it makes perfect sense. If you don't, it doesn't. But here we go. So, this is from The Independent yesterday. So, UK presses ahead with breaking international law at crucial moment in Brexit trade talks. The government is to press ahead with new legislation to overwrite the Brexit deal signed by Boris Johnson earlier this year, throwing trade talks with the EU into a new crisis. With less than 4 weeks to go until a no deal, Jacob Rees-Mogg on Thursday confirmed that ministers will reinsert controversial clauses removed by the House of Lords from their internal market bill. So, back to square one. And the Lords, bear in mind, the Lords have already said that the second this comes back to the House of Lords, they're not going to let this through. And already, that bill suffered the largest defeat in the House of Lords history. So, it's just a game of ping pong, just back and forth. Or, if you're Boris Johnson, a game of whiff-waff. But the House of Commons leader also announced the introduction of a new taxation, the post-transition bill, which is expected to include other powers and overwrite parts of the withdrawal agreement. So there's not just one bill, there's two bills. And they're the ones, and the Brexiteers are the ones claiming the EU's at fault here. No, they're not. No, they're not. So ministers have admitted that their plans break international law, and the EU has said that such a move would be curtains for talks. The precise content of the taxation bill, however, is not yet clear. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that very soon. Hopes were raised that the negotiators were coming to a close with an agreement in London on Wednesday night after a large order of pizza was seen arriving at the door of the location, as signs of working into the night. But nothing has yet emerged from the negotiations, and diplomats say that there are still divisions among EU member states about how to proceed. A group of hardliners consolidating around Emmanuel Macron's France reportedly want chief negotiator Michel Barnier to hold out for more concessions from the UK and allow a no deal to occur if necessary. But others, such as Ireland, which has more skin in the game, have warned against such a strategy. The Irish Foreign Minister, Simon Covey, told Ireland's news station Radio, "It's time to hold our nerve and trust Barnier, and I believe if we do that, there's a good chance that we can get a deal across the line in the next few days, and that there will be no further extensions. There will be no extra time." Mr. Covey argued that waiting until after a no deal would mean a significant disruptions, cost, stress, and blame games between Brussels and London. And let's just reiterate this thing about a blame game. There is no blame to be had on the EU side. It is all on the UK side. It is the UK government that decided to hold the Brexit referendum with no plan. It was the UK government that then decided to trigger Article 50 with no plan. It was the UK government that then spent 6 months promising both Remainers and Brexiteers essentially the earth with no compromise. It was the UK government who proposed the Northern Irish Protocol that is so much of this argument is being considered around. Something that the Brexiteers told at the referendum that Northern Ireland just wouldn't be a problem. And it is, once again, the Brexiteers' point of where we are today. It is all their fault. There's no one else to blame but themselves. And that is why I said back when Boris Johnson got in with such a large majority, yeah, it's bad, but you know what? They can't blame anyone else now. They can only blame themselves. Anyway, he continued, "From an Irish perspective, we get caught in the crossfires there," he said, adding that it would be a very dangerous assumption to suppose that there would be a trade deal signed in 2021. Talks are understood to still be blocked on issues like governance, fisheries and fair competition. There were, however, reports of progress on the latter issue, which has been dogged negotiations since the beginning. Yet, by the evening on Thursday, hope of a deal appeared to be fading. A senior UK government source said, "At the 11th hour, the EU is bringing new elements into negotiation. A breakthrough is still possible in the next few days, but that prospect is receding." The previous deadline to get a deal done by mid-November is now long gone. Both sides have suggested that a text needed to be produced by this point in order to fully ratify it by the end of the year to avoid a no deal, though this is unheard of for free trade agreements and needed to be introduced on a provisional basis. The rising risk of a no deal comes after the Commons Public Accounts Committee warned that the government simply had not done enough to prepare for the eventual heavy disruption at Channel ports, which will be extremely likely. The National Audit Office has also said that the government's approach to Brexit means that there will be economic disruption at the Channel ports, whether there is a deal or not. The government says that it is preparing for all eventualities, but it would like a deal. So that's really the reality of the situation, that the UK has introduced 2 bills, not only once again the internal market bill, but this new taxation bill that is going to override an international agreement we have signed. Why would anyone trust us to do trade deals, free trade agreements, when we have basically said we are going to override international agreements? That's absolute madness. It really, really is. But, you know, this is what happens when the lunatics run the asylum. It's pudding every day. And it's just... The pudding supplies are running dangerously low at this point. And, you know, we're just unfortunately along for the ride. And I'm just generally in shock. I really am. But there you go. That's Brexit for you. So please do hit that like and share button. And of course, if you would like to support the channel in a different way, there are links down below to my Patreon page and of course the Buy Me a Coffee link where you can buy me a coffee. And thank you very much to the people that do support me that way. So, as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you all next time.